If you're an NDIS participant or supporting somebody on the NDIS, choosing a therapist can feel very overwhelming. There's counsellors, there's psychologists, OTs, social workers, registered providers, unregistered providers, different funding categories, price points. Well, it can become confusing very quickly. And here is the truth. Not all therapy under the NDIS is the same. The right therapist can help you build real capacity, confidence, and independence. The wrong one can stall progress, waste funding, and cause a lot of frustration. So today I want to walk you through exactly what to do when looking for a therapist under the NDIS. And at the end, I'll explain to you how I structure my counselling services so you can decide if that approach is the right fit for you. The first thing to do is to understand that NDIS therapy is about capacity building. It's not somebody just to talk to. It's not just emotional support. It's about building those practical skills and improving emotional regulation, strengthening independence, and increasing that daily functioning. That means therapy should link clearly to your NDIS goals. And if you're speaking to a therapist, ask them, how will your sessions connect to my planned goals? And if they cannot clearly explain that, that honestly is a red flag. Therapy should feel purposeful. And in my counseling work, every single participant that we work with has a clear goal alignment. We identify that daily life looks like right now, what those daily goals look like right at this second, and where those pressure points are and what practical changes would actually improve functioning. That clarity really does matter when dealing with the NDIS. If you're currently in therapy and it feels, you're not sure where this is going, then that therapy might be worth reviewing. So qualifications, a lot of people talk about qualifications, and of course they do matter, but so does practical application. There are many qualified professionals under the NDIS, psychologists, OTs, counsellors, social workers, and yes, qualifications do matter, but practical application matters just as much. And of course, when you're working with a therapist, make sure you ask them a few questions. Have you worked with people with similar challenges? How do you adjust your sessions for cognitive differences? And how do you work with emotional dysregulation? And how do you structure therapy when somebody is overwhelmed or even burnt out? A therapist should understand disability impact, real life, not just in theory. In my counselling practice, I work specifically with adults and young people navigating anxiety, injury recovery, disability adjustment, emotional regulation challenges, financial stress. That's a major one at the moment. And of course, those major life transitions. The work that I do is grounded, practical, and structured, not just abstract. I don't just pull it out of a theory book. I make sure it is structured. So when choosing a therapist, look for relevance, not just those credentials. Structured and approach. Therapy should never feel vague. And always ask your provider, how do you structure your sessions? Do you set measurable goals? How do you track progress? If the answer is unclear, that's important information for you to know about. And in my work sessions are structured around three different things. Identifying triggers and patterns, building practical coping and regulation skills, and strengthening functional independence. Those three things are very important. And of course, we review progress regularly. We adjust that strategy when needed, because under the NDIS, progress does matter, and you deserve to know what you are working towards. Measuring those progresses as well. This is where many participants feel very unsure. What does progress actually look like? Progress might be fewer emotional outbursts, reduced anxiety, improved communication in relationships, increased ability to manage stress independently, greater confidence in community settings. It doesn't have to be dramatic, doesn't have to be this magical outcome. Some small changes are worthwhile noticing. And of course, in my counselling services, we regularly reflect on what has improved, what skills still feel stuck, and what skills need strengthening and what needs adjustment. If you cannot identify change after several months of therapy, something needs reviewing. Reports and documentation, that's a big one as well. Even if you're not currently going through a review, documentation matters. Make sure you ask, can you provide progress summaries if needed? Do you understand how to outline functional impact? That's a massive one for NDIS. A well-written report can support ongoing funding and demonstrate reasonable necessary support. In my practice, my reports really do focus on functional impact, emotional regulation capacity, barriers to independence, and demonstrated improvement and ongoing support needs. Clear documentation protects participants in the long term. And reliability and professional boundaries. This always needs to be taken into account. Consistency builds trust. Frequent cancellations do it can disrupt progress. For example, you are with a support worker. Suddenly that support worker changes. You get a brand new person. You've got to go through those first couple of weeks of getting to know the person. Exactly the same under therapy. Unclear communication does create a lot of stress. And of course, ask about availability, cancellation policies, and communication boundaries, because some therapists may not be contactable outside of business hours, and you want to make sure you have a good understanding of how your counselor, OT, or therapist needs you to communicate to them, and same with them, how they're going to communicate with you. Professional boundaries, they're not being cold. They're about being stable and making sure you have a long-term relationship with that person. In my counselling work, reliability is priority. Clear scheduling and clear expectations, and that clear communication. Because therapy works best when it is steady, not changing. If I've got an appointment with you in 2 weeks' time and we have ongoing 2-week appointments, that is going to happen. That will happen. Well, let's talk about registered and unregistered. This does cause a little bit of confusion, I notice. If you're self-managed or plan managed, well, you can often access unregistered providers. Registration does automatically mean higher quality. No, it doesn't. Just because somebody is NDIS registered does not mean that they have got a better qualification or higher quality. Competence, ethics, and experience and structure matter more. I'm an unregistered NDIS provider. That allows me flexibility while still maintaining that professional standards, ethically practiced and structured capacity building. And if you're unsure what your plan allows, make sure you speak with your plan manager or support coordinator. So the human fit as well. A lot of people don't talk about the human fit, and this often is underestimated. Do you feel respected? Do you feel heard? Do you feel safe? Therapy requires vulnerability. And if you feel judged or misunderstood, progress will be limited. When people begin counseling with me, the first thing is to focus on that psychological safety. No pressure, no rushing, no assumptions at all, because I really do believe connection builds that momentum. So let's talk about red flags. Watch for no clear link to goals, no discussion of measurable progress, vague explanations, over-promising outcomes. For example, if you come to me as a therapist, I will guarantee you will receive funding. That is a massive red flag. If you ever see anybody guaranteeing funding outcomes, massive red flag. Poor communication, boundary issues. There's plenty of red flags there. And always trust your instincts. You're allowed to choose carefully. So how does my actual counseling services work? If you're looking for counseling support under the NDIS, here's exactly how I work. I provide counseling for adults and young people aged 14 and over. And my areas of focus include anxiety, injury and disability adjustment, financial stress, major life transitions, emotional regulation, and burnout. Sessions are structured in a very practical and capacity building focus. We work on real world strategies, not just conversation. And of course, I offer in-person sessions if you are here in Cairns, Far North Queensland. If you're not around Australia, I offer secure telehealth as well. Clear goal alignment and professional documentation if you do require that. My aim is simple, is to build independence, strengthen regulation, and improve your daily functioning. If you're an NDIS participant and you are unsure whether your current therapy is aligned with your goals, well, it may be time to review your options. And if you're searching for a structured, steady counseling support that focuses on real capacity building, well, then you're welcome to reach out. All my links are in the description below. And of course, you can send me a message, visit my profile, or send me an email, alan@strongfoundationsupport.com. And if you're a support coordinator looking for grounded, practical counseling support for your participants, make sure you feel free to reach out and let's start a conversation. And if this video has helped you clarify what to look for in an NDIS therapist, please share it with somebody who may benefit, because choosing the right supports does matter. And the right support can make measurable difference. We'll see you on the next video.